Imagine standing in front of a mirror, just you and your reflection, in a moment of total honesty. When was the last time you looked into your own eyes and asked, "Am I living the life I truly want, or am I living for someone else?" Not the life your parents mapped out, not the one society says is right, but the one that makes your heart beat faster, that feels like it was made for you. That question is heavy, isn't it? It's like a punch to the gut because it forces you to face the truth. You might be chasing a version of yourself that doesn't even exist. Deep down, there's a voice whispering, begging you to listen, telling you there's more to life than this. And that voice? It's not lying. It's your soul, calling you to choose yourself. Today, we're going on a journey inspired by Carl Jung, a brilliant psychologist who believed that choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's the key to a life filled with purpose, peace, and authenticity. If you've ever felt stuck, like you're living for everyone else but you, or like you're just going through the motions, this is for you. Grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's explore what it means to live for you. If this hits home already, hit that like button to join this journey. It's going to be a powerful one. Let's start with the reality we're all facing. Life is loud. From the moment you wake up, you're hit with a barrage of demands. Your phone's buzzing with notifications, emails, texts, social media alerts. Your boss needs that project done yesterday. Your family expects you to show up for every dinner, every phone call, every crisis. And society? It's got a whole script for you. Get a stable job, climb the ladder, buy the house, post the perfect life online. It's like you're supposed to follow this playbook without ever asking, "Is this what I want?" But deep down, you feel it, don't you? That nagging sense that something's off, that this life, as successful as it looks, doesn't feel like yours. Carl Jung saw this over a century ago. He said, "The world is designed to pull you away from yourself, to drown out the one voice that matters most, yours." He called it the unconscious. But let's keep it real. It's your gut, your intuition, that quiet whisper that tells you when something's not right or when something lights you up. It's the part of you that knows who you are and what you need, even when you're too scared to admit it. But most of us, we ignore it. We push it down because listening means facing hard truths about the job that's killing your spirit, the relationship that's more pain than joy, or the dreams you've buried because they feel impractical. And that's terrifying. Here's a story to make this real. I heard about a woman named Emma, a 34-year-old marketing manager. She had everything society says you should want: a high-paying job, a nice apartment, a life that looked perfect on Instagram. But every night, she'd come home exhausted, scrolling through her phone, feeling like a fraud. As a kid, she loved painting. Bright, messy canvases that made her feel alive. But her parents told her art wasn't a career, so she got an MBA, climbed the corporate ladder, and buried her passion. The higher she climbed, the emptier she felt. She told a friend, "I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm just checking boxes." Sound familiar? Emma's story is so common, it's almost universal. We follow the path we're supposed to take, even when it feels wrong. Why do we do this? Why do we let the world silence our truth? Jung had an answer. Fear. Fear of disappointing our parents, our friends, our partners. Fear of being judged by strangers online or coworkers in the break room. Fear of failing, of stepping outside the norm, of facing the unknown. Every time you say yes to someone else's expectations, taking that job you hate, staying in a relationship that drains you, chasing goals that aren't yours, you're saying no to yourself. You're telling your heart, your dreams, your truth that they don't matter. And every time you do that, you drift further from who you're meant to be. Let's pause for a second. I want you to think about your life right now. Where do you feel out of alignment? Maybe it's a job that leaves you empty, a relationship that feels heavy, or a dream you've shelved because it seems unrealistic. Grab your notebook and write it down. Don't overthink it, just write the first thing that comes to mind. This is your first step to choosing yourself, naming what's not working. Now, let's talk about the cost of not choosing yourself. Because ignoring that inner voice isn't just a one-time choice. It's a habit that builds up over time. Jung warned that when you live inauthentically, when you're not true to yourself, you pay a price. It might show up as burnout, where you're so exhausted you can barely function. It might be resentment, where you're angry at everyone, your boss, your family, yourself, because you're giving too much. Or it might be regret, that sinking feeling that you're letting life slip away. Think about it. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't feel right, you're pouring energy into a bucket with holes. You're giving away pieces of yourself, and eventually, you're left with nothing. I want to share another story about a guy named Michael. He was a high school teacher, loved by his students, respected by his colleagues. But deep down, he was miserable. As a kid, he dreamed of being a musician, writing songs and playing guitar until the early hours. But his parents said music wasn't a real job. So he became a teacher, got married, had kids, and buried his passion. By 40, he was a shadow of himself, drinking too much, snapping at his family, feeling like he'd lost his spark. He told a friend, "I don't know what happened to me. I used to have dreams." That's what happens when you ignore your truth. It festers. It doesn't go away. Jung called this disconnection inner conflict. It's when your heart wants one thing, but your life is pulling you in another direction. That conflict doesn't stay quiet. It shows up as anxiety, that constant feeling that something's about to go wrong, or depression, a heaviness you can't explain, or anger at yourself, at the world, at the life you're stuck in. But here's the thing. The real trap isn't out there. It's inside you. It's the belief that you have to keep sacrificing yourself to be loved, accepted, or successful. Jung had a term for the parts of yourself you push away: the shadow. Your shadow is everything you hide, your dreams, your fears, your quirks, because you think they're not okay. For Michael, his shadow was his music, the part of him he buried to fit in. For you, it might be your creativity, your ambition, or even your need to slow down and rest. The shadow isn't bad. It's just the stuff you're afraid to face. But when you ignore it, it gets louder. It shows up as self-doubt, procrastination, or that voice in your head saying, "You're not good enough." Here's a hard truth. You can't outrun your shadow. You can't pretend it's not there. Jung said that facing your shadow, acknowledging those hidden parts of yourself, is how you become whole. And becoming whole is what choosing yourself is all about. It's not about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about saying, "I'm allowed to be me, all of me, even the messy parts. Let's pause again. In your notebook, write down one thing you've been hiding from yourself. Maybe it's a dream you're scared to chase, a fear you don't want to admit, or a part of you you've judged. Be honest, no one's reading this but you. That's your shadow talking, and it's not here to hurt you. It's here to help you grow. So, how do you choose yourself? How do you break free from the noise, the expectations, the fear, and start living a life that's truly yours? Jung's answer is simple but not easy. Listen to your inner voice and act on it, even when it scares you. This doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow or walking away from everything you've built. It's about making small, intentional choices every day that honor who you are. Let's break it down into 4 practical steps, inspired by Jung's wisdom, that you can start today. First, listen to your inner voice. Your inner voice is your guide. It's what Jung called the unconscious. But you can think of it as your gut, your intuition. It's that feeling that tells you when something's right or wrong, even when you can't explain why. Most of us have spent so long ignoring it that we've forgotten how to hear it. Here's how to start. Carve out 5 minutes a day to get quiet. No phone, no distractions, just you. Sit somewhere comfortable, close your eyes, and ask, what do I really want? What feels true to me? Don't judge the answers, just listen. Maybe it's a career change, a hobby you've neglected, or just more time to rest. Write it down. Make it real. I heard about a woman named Sarah who did this. She was a lawyer, always stressed, always rushing, but she started taking 5 minutes during her lunch break to journal, asking herself, what do I want? At first, it felt strange. She wasn't used to listening to herself, but over weeks, she realized she wanted to teach yoga, something she'd loved as a hobby but never took seriously. Those 5 minutes led her to enroll in a yoga teacher training program, and today she runs her own studio. It wasn't instant, but it started with listening. Try this now. In your notebook, write down one thing your inner voice is telling you. It could be a dream, a boundary, or just a feeling. If you're not sure, write, I'm listening. This is where it all begins. Choosing yourself starts with hearing yourself. Second, face your shadow. Your shadow, the parts of you you've hidden or judged, isn't your enemy. It's a part of you that's begging to be seen. Jung said that facing your shadow is how you become whole. Maybe your shadow is a dream you've dismissed as unrealistic, like starting a business or writing a book. Maybe it's a fear, like not being good enough. Or maybe it's a strength you've downplayed, like your creativity or your need for rest. Here's an example. Imagine you've always wanted to start a podcast, but you tell yourself, I'm not interesting enough. That's your shadow, your fear of being seen, of failing. Instead of pushing it away, lean into it. Ask, what's the worst that could happen if I try? What's scarier, trying and stumbling or never knowing what could have been? I heard about a guy named David who faced his shadow. He was a corporate accountant, but he'd always loved storytelling. He wanted to write a novel, but his shadow told him, you're not a writer, you'll embarrass yourself. One day, he decided to face that fear. He started writing for 15 minutes a day, no pressure, no expectations. 2 years later, he self-published his first book. It wasn't a bestseller, but it was his. Facing his shadow didn't erase his fear. It gave him the courage to act anyway. Your turn. In your notebook, write down one fear or belief that's holding you back. Maybe it's, "I'm not talented enough," or "I don't deserve to prioritize myself." Then ask, what if I embraced this part of me? What if I tried anyway? Facing your shadow is how you unlock your power. Third, set boundaries that honor you. Choosing yourself means saying no to what doesn't serve you. Jung believed that boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting your energy so you can give your best to the world. If you're always saying yes to things that drain you, you're saying no to your own well-being. Take Lisa, a mom of 2 who was stretched thin. She was on every school committee, volunteering endlessly and working late to please her boss. But she was exhausted, short-tempered, and losing herself. One day, she started saying no. She quit the committees, cut back on volunteering, and set firm work hours. At first, she felt guilty. Society says saying no is selfish, especially for moms. But over time, she had more energy for her kids. Her marriage got stronger, and she rediscovered her love for painting. Boundaries didn't limit her life, they expanded it. Here's how you can start. Pick one area where you're overextending yourself. Maybe it's agreeing to every favor, staying late at work, or holding on to a toxic friendship. This week, practice saying no once. It could be, "I can't take that on right now," or "I need some time for myself." Write down how it feels in your notebook. Saying no is saying yes to you. Fourth, trust your intuition. Jung called intuition your direct line to the unconscious, that gut feeling that knows what's right before your brain catches up. But trusting it is hard when the world says, "Be practical," or "Stick to the plan." Choosing yourself means listening to that inner knowing, even when it doesn't make sense. I heard about a woman named Rachel who trusted her intuition. She was in a perfect job, stable, well-paid, prestigious, but her gut kept telling her to leave. Everyone said she was crazy, but she couldn't shake the feeling. So she quit, with no clear plan. It was terrifying, but within months she found freelance work in graphic design, something she'd always loved. Trusting her intuition didn't just change her career, it changed how she saw herself. Here's a simple practice. The next time you have a decision to make, big or small, check in with your gut. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask, what feels right? It could be picking a new hobby, ending a relationship, or even choosing what to eat tonight. Start small and write down what your intuition says. Trusting your gut is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. When you start choosing yourself, listening to your inner voice, facing your shadow, setting boundaries, trusting your intuition, something incredible happens. Jung called it synchronicity, those moments when the universe seems to align with your truth. It's not magic. It's what happens when your inner world matches your outer world. Let me tell you about Alex, a man whose story blew me away. Alex was a corporate lawyer in his 50s, miserable despite his success. He drank too much, felt disconnected from his family, and was just going through the motions. Then, a health scare shook him awake. He started listening to his inner voice, which told him to pursue photography, a passion he'd loved as a kid. He faced his shadow, his fear of not being enough without his high-powered job. He set boundaries, cutting back his hours to take photography classes, and he trusted his intuition, even when people called him foolish. Within a year, Alex's life was unrecognizable. He started a photography business, Not for fame or money, but because it made him feel alive. His kids started opening up to him. His health improved, and opportunities came out of nowhere. Clients found him, galleries showcased his work, and he reconnected with an old friend who became his business partner. That's synchronicity, the universe saying, you're on the right path.
This is what choosing yourself does. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming who you've always been. You start attracting people who value the real you, not the version you play to please them. Opportunities that feel effortless show up because they're aligned with your truth. And most importantly, you find peace. A deep, unshakable calm that comes from knowing you're living your life.
But let's be honest, this journey isn't always easy. Choosing yourself means facing resistance. People might judge you, question your choices, or walk away because you're no longer fitting their mold. You might doubt yourself, wondering if you're making a mistake. Jung said resistance is part of growth. It's the tension between who you were and who you're becoming. When those doubts hit, picture this. You a year from now, living authentically. Maybe you're pursuing a passion, surrounded by people who lift you up, feeling at peace with who you are. That's worth fighting for. Let's pause one more time. In your notebook, imagine your ideal life, one where you're choosing yourself every day. What are you doing? Who's with you? Be specific. This is your North Star. Keep it close. Choosing yourself is a lifelong journey, and it's not a straight line. Some days you'll feel unstoppable, like you're finally living your truth. Other days, doubt will creep in. Old habits will pull you back, and the world might fight your transformation. Jung said growth is a spiral, full of ups and downs, breakthroughs and setbacks. Here's how to stay strong. First, celebrate small wins. Every time you listen to your gut, set a boundary, or face a fear, you're choosing yourself. Did you say no to a draining commitment? That's a win. Did you journal for 5 minutes? That's a win. Write these down. They add up. Second, find your people. You don't have to do this alone. Seek out friends, mentors, or online communities who get it. Share your journey, your struggles, your victories. The right people will cheer you on, not hold you back. Third, keep reflecting. Make time to check in with yourself. Journal, meditate, or just sit quietly. Ask, am I still choosing me? This keeps you grounded, even when life gets messy. When resistance hits, remind yourself why you started. You're not just choosing yourself. You're choosing a life that's yours, one that fills you with purpose and joy. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Every step you take toward that is a victory. Let's talk about another person who chose themselves, someone named Maria. Maria was a single mom working as a nurse, always putting her kids and patients first. She loved her job, but it left her drained, with no time for herself. Growing up, she'd been taught that putting herself first was selfish, so she pushed her own needs aside. But one day, she hit a breaking point. She was so burned out she couldn't even enjoy time with her kids. She started small, carving out 10 minutes a day to read, something she'd always loved. That small act of choosing herself sparked a change. She began setting boundaries at work, saying no to extra shifts. She joined a book club, where she met people who inspired her. Over time, she went back to school to become a counselor, a dream she'd had since she was young. Choosing herself didn't just change her life, it made her a better mom, a better nurse, a better human. Or take James, a 28-year-old who felt trapped in a cycle of people-pleasing. He was always the yes guy, helping friends move, taking on extra work, agreeing to plans he didn't want, but he was miserable, feeling like his life wasn't his own. Inspired by a book about Jung, he started asking himself, "What do I want?" He began saying no to things that didn't feel right, like weekend plans that left him drained. He faced his shadow, his fear of being seen as selfish, and he trusted his intuition, which led him to start a blog about mental health, something he'd always been passionate about. Today, that blog has thousands of readers, and James feels more alive than ever. These stories show what's possible when you choose yourself. It's not about abandoning your responsibilities or cutting off the people you love. It's about giving yourself permission to matter. Because when you do, you show up better for everyone else. You become a light, not just for yourself, but for the world. Let's reflect again. In your notebook, write down one small win you've had recently. Maybe a time you listened to your gut, said no, or faced a fear. If you can't think of one, write down one thing you're proud of. This is about recognizing your progress, no matter how small. Choosing yourself also means letting go of what doesn't serve you. Maybe it's a job that's killing your spirit, a relationship that's toxic, or a belief that you're not enough. Letting go is hard. Society tells us to hold on, to make things work, to avoid rocking the boat. But Jung said that letting go isn't a loss, it's a doorway to something new. When you release what's weighing you down, you make space for what lights you up. I heard about a woman named Priya who let go of a toxic friendship. She'd been friends with someone for years, but the relationship was one-sided. Priya was always there, but her friend never reciprocated. She felt guilty about ending it, worried she'd be seen as mean. But one day, she chose herself. She had an honest conversation, set boundaries, and stepped away. At first, it hurt, but over time, she found new friends who valued her, who lifted her up. Letting go didn't make her life smaller, it opened it up. What about you? What's one thing you're holding on to that doesn't serve you? It could be a habit, a relationship, a belief. In your notebook, write it down and ask, what would my life look like if I let this go? This isn't about acting on it right now, just exploring the possibility. Choosing yourself also means redefining success. Society tells us success is a big paycheck, a fancy title, a perfect family. But what if success is waking up excited about your day? What if it's having time to do what you love, or being surrounded by people who see the real you? Jung said that true success is living in alignment with your soul. That's what this journey is about. Finding your own definition of success, not the one the world hands you. Let's go back to Emma, the marketing manager who loved painting. When she started choosing herself, she didn't quit her job right away. She started small, painting on weekends, taking an art class. Over time, she realized that success for her wasn't about climbing the corporate ladder. It was about creating art that made her feel alive. Today, she's a part-time artist, selling her work online, and she's never been happier. Her bank account might not be as big, but her heart is full. What's your version of success? In your notebook, write down what success looks like for you. Not what you've been told, but what feels true. Maybe it's more time with your family, starting a side hustle, or just feeling at peace. This is your compass, guiding you toward a life that's yours. Choosing yourself also means embracing imperfection. Jung said that authenticity isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. You're going to mess up. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to have days where you fall back into old patterns. That's okay. Growth isn't a straight line. It's a spiral with highs and lows. Every time you choose yourself, even in a small way, you're moving closer to who you're meant to be. I heard about a guy named Tom who learned this the hard way. He was a perfectionist, always striving to be the best at work, at home, in everything. But it left him exhausted, feeling like he was never enough. When he started choosing himself, he let go of perfection. He started saying no to extra projects, taking time to hike, something he loved but had neglected. He wasn't perfect. He missed deadlines, had arguments, made mistakes. But he was real, and that made all the difference.
In your notebook, write down one way you can let go of perfection. Maybe it's accepting that your house doesn't need to be spotless, or that you don't have to please everyone. What's one small way you can be kinder to yourself? Choosing yourself also means trusting the process. Jung believed that when you live authentically, the universe responds. He called it synchronicity, those moments when the right people, opportunities, or experiences show up at the right time. It's not magic. It's what happens when you're in alignment with your truth. Take Sarah, the lawyer who became a yoga teacher. When she started choosing herself, she didn't just find a new career, she found a community. Her yoga students became friends, her classes led to speaking opportunities, and she even met her partner at a retreat. It was like the universe was saying, "Keep going, you're on the right path." That's what happens when you choose yourself. The world starts to reflect your inner truth. Let's reflect again. In your notebook, write down one moment in your life where things seemed to line up. Maybe a chance meeting, an unexpected opportunity, or a time you followed your gut and it worked out. If you can't think of one, write down what you hope synchronicity might bring you. This is about trusting that the universe has your back. Choosing yourself is also about building resilience. The world won't always support your journey. People might criticize you, question your choices, or walk away because you're no longer playing by their rules. That's okay. Jung said that resistance is a sign you're growing. It's the friction between who you were and who you're becoming. When you face that resistance, you're not just choosing yourself, you're choosing your strength. I heard about a woman named Aisha who faced this head-on. She was in a corporate job she hated, but her family expected her to stay because it was stable. When she decided to pursue her passion for baking, her parents called her reckless. Friends stopped inviting her out, assuming she was too busy. It hurt, but Aisha kept going. She started a small bakery, working nights and weekends. Today, her business is thriving, and she's rebuilt her relationships on her terms. The resistance didn't stop her. It made her stronger. What resistance are you facing? In your notebook, write down one challenge you're dealing with. Maybe criticism from others, self-doubt, or fear of change. Then write, "I am stronger than this." That's your reminder that you can handle whatever comes. This is your moment. Life is too short to keep living for everyone else. Carl Jung taught us that everything you're searching for, peace, purpose, joy, is already inside you. All it takes is the courage to listen, to act, to choose yourself. Right now, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's one small step I can take today to choose myself? Maybe it's journaling for 5 minutes, saying no to something that doesn't feel right, or trusting your gut on a decision. Write it down in your notebook. That step, no matter how small, is the beginning of your transformation. This journey isn't just about you, it's about the ripple effect you create. When you live authentically, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a light for someone else who's lost, searching for their own truth. So don't keep this to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs it, a friend, a family member, someone who's struggling to find themselves. Your share could be the nudge they need
to start their journey. And let's keep this conversation going. In the comments, tell me what spoke to your heart today. What's one step you're ready to take to choose yourself? Every comment, every like, every share helps this message reach more people who need it. Together, we're building a community of people committed to living authentically, with courage and heart.
If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video like this. We're in this together, and every week we're diving deeper into how to live a life that's truly yours. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. But most of all, thank you for choosing yourself. This is just the beginning. The world needs your light, your truth, your unique spark. So go out there and shine. I'll see you in the next video.